So this is the OBDIIC&C version 2 slave module installed into the UK ECM from my manual transmission car. So this is the prototype printed circuit board which you can see installed inside the ECM there. This has the same functionality or similar functionality to the little tiny printed circuit board I usually install inside the MCM for IMA-C&C plug and play, and that little circuit board looks like that. That's the IMA-C&C plug and play slave that you may be familiar with. Now, there's no reason why this circuit board, obviously, which is just my hardwired prototype, couldn't be shrunk down to something when made with surface mount components to a similar size to this. This would fit inside the ECM. It has very similar functionality, this board here, to this little tiny board, but it has some extras. This one has some extras, and I'll just explain those now. So first of all, this is CAN compatible, and this obviously is going to communicate with the Master, which will sit on top of the dashboard as normal, the OBDIIC&C version 2. It can actually communicate with the version 1 as well, which is what I'll be doing the testing on shortly. So it has the CAN board, and the CAN chip, and the twisted pair CAN wires are going out here. And what I've actually done is I've connected those to two redundant pins on the ECM pin out. So all I need to do is add pins to the connector that goes in the other side, and the CAN lines will be accessible from the outside, so no holes to be drilled inside the box, etc. So this has the CAN enabled PIC here, audio warning, etc., and it's got in and out here, in for the IMA control lines and the QBAT line, and out for those lines as well. And this is inputs from the ECM for things like speed, map, throttle, brake and clutch, etc. They all come into here as well. And this device here is sending out, the PIC here is sending out a constant stream of information back to the Master, telling it what if the brake's pressed or the clutch is pressed, or what position the throttle is, etc, etc, etc. And this one then will sit here quite happily waiting for commands to come down from the OBDIIC&C Master via the extra pins and into here, and it will then act on those. So if it doesn't receive any signals from the Master for a set duration, like 100 milliseconds or something like that, it just reverts immediately to pass-through mode. So it just transmits whatever the ECM is doing out to the MCM, but as soon as it starts to receive active data, then it will override the ECM signals if necessary or if desired by the Master board, and it will just take over and send out to the MCM the IMA-C&C IMA assist and regen requests. So it's quite a useful thing, and obviously it makes it like a MEMA type device or an IMA-C&C type device. It still retains its plug and play capability. Obviously you have to make these mods inside the ECM, but that can be done by me or somebody else who's competent with soldering. It took me about an hour to solder these connections here. The only really tricky fiddly ones are down here, but again with care it was possible to do those. It's nice that you don't have to hack around the harness to make any connections. So this can, once it's covered up, this can just go back into the car and away we go. So what I will do though is I will leave access for the programmer, because obviously this is only the very, very, very early software and it will need some changes. So I'll probably attach that to the board there and bring the programmer outside the case so that I can access it when it's in situ in the car, so I can update the software until I get it how I want. And then I've already sent this circuit diagram, well basically the schematic for this, to Isaac Bulldog on the forum, and hopefully we can then turn it into something that looks more like that with appropriate connectors, and you can just go anywhere in the case that we want it to. So that's where we are at the minute. This is the UK ECM for my manual car with the OBDIIC&C slave board installed, which communicates via CAN to the OBDIIC&C and resides on the same bus as the LTO boards and the LTO cells, etc. So that's where we are at the moment.